Welcome to a very stupid stream. You know, who needs a girlfriend when you have fictional characters, I guess? Sure, we'll say that. So, I don't know if anyone remembers, I don't know why I'm saying this like it happened 3 years ago, but on TikTok, a very popular trend became a thing where people would have their hear me out cakes. And then they would present to you the most boring white piece of bread of a man you've ever possibly seen. And so I'm making this as a counter-argument to that trend on TikTok. Because quite frankly, I've got some freaks on here that if the people on TikTok knew about, they would vomit. So, this is my hear me out cake. Here is my cake, and we're about to hear who my hear me outs are. So, before we get officially started, I would just like to say, hear me out on some of these. Because I truly think I've chosen some of the weirdest freaks. But there's somebody out there who is also going to think this is so boring. So I'm not only going to be introducing my hear me outs, but we are also going to explain why they are a hear me out, or at least why I think they could be considered a hear me out. And we're going to start with what I think are some of the easy ones, to really ease everyone into this. So the first one that I have to present to you today is the Baron from The Cat Returns, specifically The Cat Returns, because, dear Lord, something about that ballroom scene where he's dancing with Haru, I think something about that scene just altered my brain chemistry. And I don't know if it was necessarily in a good way, but the reason he is a hear me out is mostly just because he's an anthropomorphic cat, because other than that, he's a perfectly acceptable man. He is a gentleman, he's kind-hearted and soft-spoken, and honestly, if I was a little bit straighter, I would probably fall for him a little bit harder. And you know what? If Haru can end the movie off having a little bit of a crush on this absolute icon, then I think I can too. We all left the movie a little bit in love with the Baron, right? Next up, we got an absolute classic, Luna from My Little Pony. I swear to God, I thought I was a weirdo when I was a kid for having like a mild crush on her, until I learned that like 90% of lesbians love her. So I felt a little bit better about that. But again, she is also a horse. And I would like to make an argument towards her Nightmare Moon phase, because that, I think, specifically really just encompasses what I think is so iconic about her. Like, this is a conventionally attractive horse. So the first two, I think, are just so conventionally attractive, like, most people would understand where I'm coming from. Even if you're not into the looks, you're probably into the personality. But now we're gonna get into something. So we got our two normal ones. And I remember there was a TikTok video that I saw about the hear me out cakes, where they said the bare minimum that you can put on there is venom. And so I put venom on there. But not when Venom and Eddie are together and they're making like their sort of monstrous sort of human form. No, just the symbiote. Just the symbiote, no Eddie attached. Thank you very much. Because look at that. It's a little glob, and I love him. Apparently in the comics, Eddie and Venom are canonically married or something, and honestly, I'm just gonna say, Eddie is very, very lucky, because I would kill to have a little goop alien girl. Eddie is very lucky, because I would love to date the goop. I can't even defend him personality-wise. This is why it's a hear me out, because I think Venom is just kind of a little bit of an not like a villain per se, but he's definitely not a good person. But you know, that moment where he was gonna eat a cop, based as hell. That's, I guess, the one defense that I have. I'm really gonna out myself right here. Because this next one is an oldie, but quite frankly a goodie, in my opinion. And that's Muffet from Undertale. I put her on here mostly, I think younger me just had a crush on her, honestly. So she's another sort of honorary mention, but also like I could kind of see it, you know? But I feel like she's not as much of a hear me out because like she's got that conventional attractiveness, I would say, personally. You know, this is, again, we're at bare minimum of freak right now. With this, around this time, it's gonna start spiraling. But, you know, she's a little spider monster. That's okay. I don't have arachnophobia. I actually like spiders. Believe it or not. I'm okay with their presence. So, you know, she's, you know, pretty normal answer, I would feel like. But she is also a spider creature. And I don't know, maybe personality-wise, some people might not like her. I personally think there's no problem with being, you know, a little. She's just a little silly goofy. She's just trying to provide for her family, guys. We can't fault her for that. Going downhill from here, chat. I know it seems pretty normal so far. However, just you wait. I have phantoms from Minecraft. They're not even humanoid. You know, we've all heard oh, I would love to have an Enderman boyfriend. We all want to have an Enderman boyfriend, okay? That's boring. At this point, that is the white bread of Minecraft. So, hot new take. I don't know, there's just something about the design is just super cool, you know? They have like a skeleton on their outside. That's pretty badass. I cannot deny that fact. So, I would say this is a hear me out, simply because, again, everything gets overshadowed by Enderman. Really supportive partner because they would force me to go to bed at night, and as someone who has pretty bad insomnia most nights, this would probably help. I don't know, maybe beating me when I'm tired is not a good thing, but I would be willing to give them a chance, okay? Still not the weirdest I know, though. Oh, don't you worry. We're getting there. Alright. Now next up, we got Rico from the Penguins of Madagascar. So, this sparked, I think, the entire presentation that I am doing now, because I got into a conversation with a friend while we were driving, and I just randomly, out of nowhere, asked them, smash or pass Penguins from Madagascar? Ranked highest in Smash and lowest in, like, Smash ability. And I think, if I remember correctly, they said Kowalski was their first Smash. I don't know. There's something about Rico, man. He's an arsonist, man after my own heart. He is also a penguin, though. Not even super anthropomorphized. So I feel like, you know, it doesn't get the same pass that the Baron and Luna do, because he is a full-ass penguin. I think it's mostly personality-wise. But, you know, I'm asexual, but I'd let him smash. You know? Kaboom. I actually hated that. Next one is the mean green mother from outer space, aka Audrey 2. This is specifically from a movie, and fun fact, this is actually a puppet, and it took, I think, like, something like 30 people, 36 people or something, to puppet this entire thing, and it is absolutely insane, and it looks so good, and honestly, if you've seen the movie, this is a little bit of a spoiler if you haven't, but when Audrey, the original, gets placed in the green mean mother from outer space, aka Audrey 2's mouth, I mean, like, I kind of wish that was me, not gonna lie. You know, just look at that. That's a sexy ass plant. I think this next one is going to make somebody out there concerned, but Am from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, but specifically this art by Scrimbo Science on Tumblr. Specifically the robot version. I didn't need to put the human version in here because it's just the robot version. But, I wanted to keep the whole thing together. Because just look at that robot version for a minute. And I've read the entirety of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, okay? I know what I'm getting myself in for. Alright? But I don't care. I, quite frankly, do not give a single heck. It's not an I could fix him kind of thing. It's an I know what he's done and I quite frankly don't care. Because they did such a wonderful job of making it look like a monster but also almost humanoid in a way. The hate cloak is absolutely insane, quite frankly. But I love it so much. It would be like, hate fucking each other. Because he hates humanity. And I'm asexual. So it's just worst case scenario. But I would kind of be into it, You guys I don't need to fix him. I can just love him as he is. He's a horrid little creature and I love that for him. It's downhill from here. Next up, we have the puppet from FNAF 2. Now, I was a bit hesitant to put this in here, just because I don't know, I'm not super, up on the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, so there might be a child's soul in this thing, but I'm going to defend myself by saying that it was also another Irene 9-year-old crush on fictional character. But also, I just think, this is such a fun design. This is arguably the best design in the entire game series. But also, I can acknowledge that this is there as an entire child. So, I don't know. I'm asexual, guys. It's okay. I don't actually want to have sex with the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. That's my defense. Alright. Awesome. Alright. Now back into some real freaks. The homophobic vase from the Magnus archives. And since we don't actually have a canonical visual for this, I chose this lovely, lovely meme. Once again, this is not an I could fix it type of situation. It's more of a I know what it's done. And honestly, I'm still kinda into it a little bit. Maybe after one lovely night with me, the homophobic vase would learn the error of its ways and no longer be homophobic. Or it could go the other way entirely and be even more homophobic afterwards. How would one be able to have sex with a vase? And I'm here to answer that question. Biggest hear me out, quite frankly, because it's an entire ass vase. There is a single hand that we see in the vase. And that's it. It's the ultimate enemies to lovers. Except that I'm not expecting it to turn into my lover. I'm expecting it to just be enemies. Because what do you mean you want to fuck a vase? We don't even have a visual on it. So I cannot defend myself by saying, well, this is an objectively attractive vase. It doesn't even have a good personality. It steals people's husbands. Hangman tarot card. And I feel like I need to specify that it is not the man in the card, but it is just the card. Because I watched a Hear Me Out where somebody included the "aw shit, here we go again" meme, and they didn't specify whether it was just the meme in general or the man within the meme. So I feel like I need to take this moment to specify it is not the hanged man himself. It is the entire card. This is just an inherently sexy design to have on a card. See, this is the fun about being asexual and trying to make a Hear Me Out list. Because then I just get to have so much fun with it, Nobody else wants to have sex with a card, but I do. You don't see anybody drawing their OC as the Six of Cups, do you? No, it's only the Hanged Man. Oh, this is so stupid. The Kugelblitz from the Umbrella Academy was... You know that saying, about asexuality, and it's like, oh yeah, asexuals, they experience attraction in a different way. They see people and they look at people like they're a sunset. And it's like, you don't want to have sex with that sunset. I do. I would. Okay? I'd risk it all. That is an inherently sexy time vortex black hole. I don't remember what it was. I think it was closer to a black hole. You know? It's too good at sucking. Why am I here? It doesn't have a personality that I can defend. I can only defend it on looks. And 9 times out of 10, people don't want to have sex with sunsets, you know? I'm just built different, I guess. Listen, just hear me. She said on my son till I die. You're so right. You're so right. It's literally just a black hole, and that's why I think it's a hear me out. And why is it why do I find myself attracted to it? I don't know. I just do. I just love me some villains. I love me some morally questionable people, things, a little bit of both. Because I think this is going to absolutely kill somebody. Because I talked about the same friend that I talked about the Madagascar's penguins smash or pass with, and it was in the same conversation too. But my final, hear me out, is Blue the dinosaur from Jurassic World. And when I told them this, they were instantaneously like, oh, I 100% understand it, and that's why we're best friends. Because, again, there's barely any looks that I could defend. You know, this is not a conventionally attractive dinosaur. You know what I mean? There's barely a personality for me to defend either. She kinda helps, but she's not really like, she's an animal. She has no personality. She doesn't speak at all. But listen, there's a really great TikTok video about how most asexuals are monster fuckers. And honestly, I think this really sums up that yes, that is correct. Because sex is weird enough as it is. Sex is weird and gross enough as it is. That I might as well just, like, have a little fun with it, you know? Because there is nothing that I think any rational, normal person would say is a plus to this. It's literally just a whole-ass dinosaur. Because I think there is some sort of appeal towards monster fucking, you know? That's why so many people are monster fuckers nowadays. And sex is weird enough that you might as well have a little fun with it. And there is some sort of appeal to, like, do I have a predator breaking? Oh no. She could, I'm gonna stop actually. I need to stop myself. Oh, this is getting cursed enough as it is without me saying, oh yeah, I would love that dinosaur to pin me down and, like, tear into me. God, I am a freak, aren't I? Yeah, I would be okay with getting torn apart and ripped to shreds if it was specifically by Blue, the dinosaur from Jurassic World. We can take a moment to reflect on all of my hear me outs. For an asexual, these are some fiery takes. I know! This is what's so fun about being asexual. Because I spent so long considering who might be my very few exceptions to the rule of no sex. No sex, no thank you. Yucky. Unless you are Am from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Or the Kugelblitz from the Umbrella Academy. God, this is probably the most cursed stream I've ever conceived of. I'm panning, I don't even have a hear me out yet. You gotta get to work on that, dude. I'm doing better than you, and I'm literally asexual. Yeah, I think I still could have gotten weirder. You know? I definitely could have gotten weirder with it. Happy Valentine's Day.